to the Q Code. Your curiosity quest starts here.
Welcome into the the Q Code podcast.
What was that?
I swear we have not done that kind of a beginning thus far. So I figure we change it up a little bit.
You're damn right we haven't done that type of a beginning before. What was that sound?
Isn't it kind of like a air horn?
Is that an air? Okay.
How would you do it?
I don't know, but I know enough that I probably shouldn't try.
Yes, that's what I did.
You did.
Well, mine was like
I don't know.
A quick.
I'm not gonna say. It's just. I have to make fun of you. I can't. I have to.
Plus, like, I wanted people who are listening to this to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm listening."
As they're driving, they're like, ah! That is assuming someone is listening to us.
But normally you would do that like midway through the show because, I mean, they're probably listening right at the beginning because 2 seconds ago they just pushed play.
Yeah, well, people tune out. Plus, we have
very short
play, and then we went through our intro music, and then by that point they could have easily been toned out. All right, but welcome into another great episode of the Q Code podcast. Quickly, just to recap what we're going over today, I will be covering part 3 of my sleep series. And if you guys are tired of the sleep series, don't worry, this is the last part. So no more sleep after this. Just wakefulness. And then after that, Alan will be doing a game for us. I believe he's doing some kind of solar system trivia. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then after we do that and get a lot of
trivia on this part, on this episode, it's going to be focusing on the Sun and Mercury.
I'm going to ace it.
Okay.
There's some easy ones in there for you guys.
Is one of the questions true or false? The sun is bright.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah,
right
how would you
at
measure its IQ?
Nope, just true.
Shut up, Danny.
All right, and then finally, Trav will fill us in on something that we have all been, I've been curious about, is what the heck is going on with all these raids at Area 51 recently, right? How would you word it? What's up with
my
the Area 51 raids?
No, that's not my question. It was, what's going on with this Area 51 thing was my actual question. We'll get to it.
So now Danny has just given away...
No, he hasn't given away anything because there have been no raids. But we'll talk about it.
So now you have just given away...
I've given away nothing.
So, join us for that. But before we get into the questions, we're going to jump back into what we have been doing for most of the last few weeks, and that is doing a what if or a would you rather type of question. So for this week, I came up with a question of, would you rather be sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole, or be sentenced with a death sentence and killed within like the next week?
I don't think that usually happens. Death penalties are usually
like 10 years.
Very, very... I mean, did you ever see The Green Mile?
Well, this system works quickly.
Okay. Yeah, constitutionally, I don't think you could be killed within a week because you have your right to appeals and
let's say you've gone through all of your appeals, and this is the final thing. You either are going to be sentenced to death or in prison for life without parole.
I'd take prison for life. I mean, I know that prison life is probably the worst thing ever, but just the anticipation of literally just being killed. Like, you just know, like, I got a week left. At least if I get, like, killed in prison, I don't know about it. Like, I mean,
So do you think if you were
I don't know the actual date.
If you were killed in prison, do you think it'd be shanked?
I don't know. Or beaten with a bar of soap. Stabbed with a toothbrush.
Just all the things you see in movies in general.
Yep.
So that's your answer. Flat out.
Flat out prison.
Prison for life. All right, Alan?
Depends on how much life I have left.
Well, you're 32 right now.
Yeah.
So
also,
I would say you have quite a bit of life left.
Also, the question doesn't really dive into all the variables.
Yeah.
It's pretty straight up.
So in general, I would probably go with death.
Yeah, righty.
Is that it?
Yep.
That was pretty
Okay.
close. Or pretty quick.
I would probably lean towards death as well. Because if I'm have no chance of leaving prison, now I'm just stuck in prison for the rest of my life, what do I have to look forward to? Yard time?
Yard time, but Danny, there's a lot of opportunities to gamble in prison. You could be like the freaking bookie. You could be that guy.
I know, but what good is it when I get nothing that I want?
You can get ciggies,
Yeah,
man.
I don't want that.
You get ramen noodles.
Yeah. Get ciggies and train
Well,
them for
now that you
ramen
say
noodles.
ramen noodles, this changes things because we all know from the video Trav sent us, we can fix our sinks with ramen noodles.
So, wait, what? I mean, I remember sending that, but do they know that I sent you that?
Well, I'm letting them know.
Okay. you talked about it as if like that was a well-known thing.
Yeah, because I think you prefaced that phrase with,
As
as
we
we
all
all
know."
know. Trav sent.
So I don't know what would you say to look at it? If you were interested, just look up guy fixes things with ramen noodles.
Yeah, sure. You'll
On
find it.
YouTube.
But all right, well, two of us will die, one of us will choose to live and try and better their life, even though they can't get out. Maybe I will try and just be like freaking Jerry Seinfeld when he went to prison and just make everybody laugh and smile.
Well, Trav, K, you chose life in prison, but let me throw in absolutely no conjugal visits.
I would assume there was no conjugal visit.
And you can never get visited by your family.
That's not a part of the question.
And every day you're beat to within an inch of your life. Just kidding. Okay.
I'm not trying to talk you guys out of death. Don't try and talk me into it.
No, I think it's the reason that I don't even know why I just thought of this question today. It just popped into my head, but I was like, if I honestly I know why, because I've been watching that video or that series that you talked about last week, the Evil Genius.
Evil Genius. Yeah.
On Netflix, and I'm knowing like that there's some bad things happening. I was like, would I rather just spend the rest of my life sitting in a prison cell, or would I rather just end it, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought, if I were to sit in a prison cell at first, I was like, oh well, but then I could do stuff still, I'd still be alive. But to what end? Like,
Life is
anything
life.
I do now, I hope that helps me in future goals, I guess, that I have.
I feel like this could be a longer topic if I really wanted to combat you on your thoughts about life.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if I'm just locked up, then there's literally no reason to live. I would suggest that that's not true.
Well, I
Because
think if you have
that's kind of
a chance to get out.
I know. No, I'm just saying that you're possibly looking at it as in a selfish way. That just because it's over for you doesn't mean that basically you have nothing left to give. So why not try it? Yeah, maybe your life is over, but why not try and make it better for other people?
Yeah. And I thought of that too.
Did
And
you now?
my rebuttal to that would be, well, if I died, then I would expedite my process to become angel status,
Okay.
and then I could.
You
help
just got
lots of
sent
people.
to the death penalty. Like you were. So
Probably
obviously,
because
whatever
weren't
you
being
did
an angel.
does not warrant angel status.
You're
Well-
probably following the devil on your shoulder, not the angel.
Well, I was wrongfully convicted.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get into this. So, why don't we just jump into my question, which is, what are some of the benefits sleep can provide? Sleep Series Part 3.
Hold on, I got a Woman and a kid 200 yards out, moving towards the convoy. Her arms aren't swinging. She's carrying something. Yeah, she's got a grenade. She's got an RKG Russian grenade. She's saying to the kid.
You said woman and a kid?
You got eyes on this? Can you confirm?
Negative. You know the ROV. Your call.
Man, they fry you if you're wrong. They send your ass to Leavenworth. Fuck, that was gnarly.
Okay, so remember that scene in a few minutes from now. We'll cover it. Why?
It's from American Soldier, just in case anybody is
Sniper.
or American
American
Sniper. Just in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah. So,
Bradley Cooper.
yes, he was the actor in that movie.
I don't remember the actual guy's name who he's playing.
So
It's Chris.
American.
Chris. Like, I think his last name is Chris.
Okay.
Something.
Okay.
I knew it yesterday. I just forget what it was. But anyway, yeah, we'll get to why I use that clip in a little bit. But for now, let's just quickly, if you missed 2 episodes ago, I went over things like sleep debt, non-REM versus REM sleep, sleep cycles, sleep stages, how sleep changes with age, and circadian clocks and rhythms. Last week, we went over the more what we call the dark side of sleep, and we covered sleep disorders such as narcolepsy, insomnia, sleep apnea, and parasomnias. So that's just if you missed those and you want to go back and you want to see or listen to those are on the last 2 episodes. But today we're going to cover the light side, I guess, more of the benefits that sleep can bring to you. So to do that, I know we've already talked briefly on dreams before, and that was in the first segment or series portion, part 1, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to kind of quickly go back over dreams again, as dreams actually have more that they can help one or an individual do during sleep. So if you remember, Trav, do you remember the 2 types of sleep stages, or the 2 types? Non-REM
And REM.
Yes. But you can dream in either of those stages, right?
Yes.
We talked about that. But if you dream in the non-REM stage,
It's more mundane and boring.
exactly. And if you dream in the REM stage,
Anything goes.
Paralyzed.
yeah, it's crazy. And then, yes, Alan, if you dream in while you're in the REM stage, your body actually becomes paralyzed so that you don't physically act out your dreams. So they say that dreams during REM sleep are characterized by hallucination, delusions, disorientation, emotional instability, and amnesia. So the funny thing about that is all these symptoms of psychosis are symptoms of psychosis in a awake individual, but in a sleeping individual, it's just normal. So basically what you do or what you experience while you're dreaming would put you in the loony bin typically. So, but let's do this thought experiment for both Alan and Trav. Okay. So if someone could record your dreams and replay them as a movie, would you want that or not?
Ooh. Well, yes. Do I just get to watch them?
Yeah, can we edit?
Is there an audience? Because I don't know. Like, I can't control what's in there, so you never know.
So if you were the only one that could watch them,
Hell yeah.
you would want that.
Yeah.
But if anyone could watch them, you wouldn't want that.
At least allow me to edit.
Yeah.
Like, we feel like there's like 14 minutes missing here.
Allow editing to make it family friendly.
Exactly.
Just family friendly. You don't want to edit anything else.
What else would I edit?
Things that are like in cartoon, but you're violent.
What?
I don't know where you're getting at with that either.
Like
I don't know. I just made that up. All right. Well, no, I actually agree for the most part with you guys because my initial thought was like, that'd be cool.
I mean, look at all your dreams. We'd love to see these in visual form.
And if you could then be like, okay, yes, I deem this one to be fine to be released to the public, and or if you could be like, okay, well, all of it except for take out this little part right here where I'd rather not have people see that. Whatever.
Like, let's just say that there was a way that you could do this, okay? You could record your dreams, edit them or whatever. Can you imagine what the world would become as far as like posts on Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff? It would just be littered with all that stuff. But it would be
become
so
an acid trip
crazy
24/7.
and it would be pretty awesome.
Well, I agree. I agree. There's some upsides and some downsides to it. But what if I told you that there is a dream researcher by the name of Daniel Oldis, Oldis, who's actually working on this very thing. Like, this is his project that he's working on. And so he's kind of been obsessed with trying to do this for like years and years. Since he was younger, he's always like, I wish there was a way that I could like record dreams or something like that. So he found basically if he can find a way to record the images of someone's dreams, their movements, and their speech during their dreams, then he could basically compile all of that and create like a dream movie of what happened, right? So with that said, he found that by using what they call an electromyogram, an EMG, he can measure the nerve impulses of muscles, and basically in doing so, he can record the movements that are occurring that somebody's going through while they're in their dream state. So basically, from my understanding is you're paralyzed, right?
Okay.
Because you're in REM sleep.
Yes.
But they're able to record what your movements would be from the electro pulses in your brain. And then they can take that information, put it into a computer software program, upload it to an avatar, and the avatar will mimic the movements that you were doing in your dream, supposedly.
What about everything else around it?
So that's for the movement. Then he's like, okay, so we got to take the next step. So in the past, he's done some research on how to record speech in a dream. And he's done this by attaching electrodes to a sleeping person's speech muscles, which I don't know exactly what speech muscles are considered. I don't know if that's like your jaw or if this is just another part of the brain or what. But then he has been able to successfully pull some speech out, but not enough that he can make like coherent sentences or full dialogue or anything like that. So it's something that he's still working on, but that's where he's on that point. So if he's able to get far enough along that he can get that part, add it to his movement from the avatar that he's recording. So now you would suddenly have a walking and talking avatar, right? Of you in your dream or whatever.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's a neuroscientist in Japan by the name of Yakiyusa Kamitani, who is
You should be able to say this. Come on.
Yasu Kamitami. But anyway, he's found a way using what they call a functional magnetic resonance imaging machine, or an fMRI for short, to record images that subjects are thinking about while they're awake. So he's done tests where he'll say, okay, think of something. And if the subject, so like Trav, we hook you up to this machine and you think of like an owl, then on his screen, he will see the vague shape and outline of an owl. So he's basically been able to find a way to take whatever your brain waves or whatever and figure out what it is you're thinking about and then display it as an image. So this Daniel
Does he do it by like showing you a bunch of pictures of owls beforehand and measuring your brain waves so that when you think about an owl, they can recognize the same brain waves or something?
I don't know. I didn't dig into like the inner workings of how the machine works. I just very surface level at this point. But I think you should, for one of your questions, sometime you should research that. That seems kind of like something you'd be good at.
Okay.
So, anyway, but yeah. So if you think about it,
Thanks, bro. Thanks for the help.
but no, if I find anything on it, I'll let you guys know too. But yeah, so he wants to do that, use that same technology to basically hook it up to somebody while they're sleeping in hopes that he can pull out the images that they're seeing in their dream. And then using the same kind of thing, pulling it out, and then combining all three of those factors into creating a dream movie. So I guess he has, the basic point is he has like a plan and an outline in place. It's just a matter of if he can actually execute it in a manner in which he can get a dream movie.
I just see these, the final product being like, just go to YouTube and just Google search, just search for like amateur, like homemade cartoons, and you'll see people's just drawings and them just posting. That's just what I see. It's just like probably the worst animation you can picture. That is what this machine is spitting out with very
So it's
almost
like
incoherent
words.
speech.
And just like a random character just moving around aimlessly. Yeah, it still seems pretty far-fetched as far as like getting this high-quality HD video or something out of it, but I guess there are things out here now that I never expected to be here 20 years ago either, so I guess we'll have to find out. But so, I mean, if I hear anything, any updated information on this and this guy's project in the future, I will let you guys know. But he has assembled a team of 24 dream researchers, neurobiologists, sleep scientists, and psychologists. And guess what he has named this team?
The Dream Team.
Dream catchers.
The Dream Team. Oh. It was too easy for Trav. How did you know?
Just smart, I guess.
Because we're talking about dreams, and I said he made a team.
Yes.
And you said, wait a second. So I think on that team is Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. Keep naming them, Trav.
Karl Malone.
John Stockton, Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay.
Wait, was Hakeem on there?
I don't.
Because he's from a different country, so maybe not. Anyway.
He can still play on the dream team. Like, I'm sure he's an American citizen.
Oh. Well, we'll see. I'll have to go back and
I don't even know if you have to be an American citizen to be on our Olympic team, do you?
I think so, because you're playing for America. But I don't know.
I don't know.
Can you just be like, well, it wasn't good enough to make it on Team America, so...
You know what? This sounds like it's a good question that you could do next time, in the future. Maybe you should do some research on that one.
Okay.
We're just giving out so much material. All right, anyway, so next summer, he's supposed to take this dream team down to California, and they're going to try recording dreams from some willing subjects down there next summer to see if they can
I think it'd
create
be difficult
dream
if they weren't willing. Sneak up on them. Don't wake him up. Put the electrodes on his head.
That's
Gotta
true.
shave his head first, though.
So we'll see. I don't know if it'll work or not. I'm somewhat skeptical. Sounds like you are, Trav.
Super skeptical.
But it'd be cool if it happens. All right.
What are those, like, Rorschach? Is that what
yeah,
they're called?
Rorschach, the
Whatever.
the ink
Yeah,
blobs.
That's what I would imagine the owls coming out as is kind of like that.
It's like, oh, this dude's dreaming about like an oblong shape.
Football.
That's about it. It's moving.
So, what do dreams mean? And this goes back to, from early times, people always kind of wondered, what did their dreams mean? You get to Freud, and Freud is famous for quite a few different things, but one of the things that he thought about were that dreams were expressions of repressed wishes and desires. So that sounds very Freudian to me from the very limited amount of information that I know about Freud, but seems like it fits. And then along came Carl Jung, and he disagreed with Freud. He said, I don't think that it's expressions of repressed wishes and desires. Instead, I think it's more of like dreams are just transparent, revealing, like very fact-based, like they're not really obscure. It's just like whatever you dream about, that's just, you're dreaming it because that's what you're thinking, right? It sounds to me that's more the way that you go, Trav.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there can't be meaning. I'm just saying there's not meaning in everything.
Yeah. And from a scientific standpoint, how are you supposed to prove that if you're taking Freud's route, how are you supposed to prove that there is any meaning?
Yeah.
There's no test you can do.
Yeah,
it's
and that
like
is
untestable. So in science, that's a question that you would just say, get it out of here because it's untestable.
Yeah. And that's exactly the problem with this, any hypothesis when it comes to dreaming and their meanings, is how do you measure it? How do you test it, right? There is no way, at least that we know of now, that we can just be like, oh yeah, well, if you dream about a cockroach, it's because you're hungry or whatever, like that's just, sure, maybe for some people, but for other people it might not be.
With the dreams that we do, with your dreams, and at the end we go to dreammoods.com, and there are some things that you put in and it returns this explanation. It says you are either thinking or feeling this or this, and they're completely opposites. It's like, okay, well, good. You were able to cover everything then.
That's true. You are either super indecisive or you are super decisive.
Yeah.
About this situation.
Thanks.
Right.
That helps a lot.
I know. That goes back to the whole, what do they call them? Horoscopes or whatever that they try to make people are like, oh my gosh.
A lot of things are so generic.
Yeah, it's totally me. Or if you go to one of those women that read your future,
like a tarot or a psychic or
or whatever with the little ball.
Yes, a psychic.
Yeah.
What was that famous one that used to be on TV all the time, like Miss Cleo or something like that?
Madame Cleo.
Yeah.
Pay me $0.25, I'll tell you your fortune.
They just make things super like, well, I think you will have a birthday in the next 364 days.
And in those situations too, like, it's whether you believe in because we don't have to get into this because this is completely out of the realm of like dreams now, but whether you believe in that stuff or not, like a lot of times these psychics and people like that are really reading you. They're really good at reading people, and they might say something and see you flinch and just run with that, and you have no clue. Yeah. So. But, to liken that unto dreams, you can't see what somebody's doing in a dream. You can't even, I'll even say even like with that whole thing, like putting yourself up to electrodes and things like that and flinching. Like sometimes your body just flinches. Like what if you had a fart? It's like, the body did something there.
It's why lie detector tests aren't admissible in court, right? I think so. They're not. Yeah. But it's because it's the same type of pseudoscience where it's anything can cause you to sweat or, just like people beat lie detectors by putting a sharp object in their shoe and they stomp down on it to like raise all their stats or heart rates and everything so that throughout the entire thing so that they're always
like a common baseline.
They make their baseline like a higher elevated alert status in your body so that when you're lying you can't tell. You can't parse the two.
Yeah. But so in the end, exactly, it's super hard to tell. But the one that I kind of probably most agree with, if I had to pick kind of a whole, hypothesis around what dreams mean, is these two Harvard scientists in the 1970s came up with the thing that they call the activation synthesis hypothesis. And basically it means like, so you have your cortex in your brain. Your cortex is basically the part of the brain that covers the middle part, right? It's the part that kind of wraps around on the outside. But part of the cortex, its job is literally to, when you see something, to try and like figure out or create a narrative around it. I mean, that's why people are so good at like always wanting to find patterns and things, like, oh, well, I saw that it was green and then red and then green and then red. So naturally it should be green next because you're creating a story or a pattern in your brain, right? So while you're sleeping, you get your cortex is randomly activated by bursts of action potentials is what they call it. So long story short, meaning when you're sleep dreaming, your cortex is getting all this information, just this random information. And this ties in because to the purpose of dreaming. The purpose of dreaming. So when you go to sleep, you learn things or you experience things all through the day, right? And so when you do that, you have all this input information that you've collected. So when you go to sleep, the way your brain has to function is it needs to basically defrag. Do you guys remember defragging computers?
I remember when that was a thing.
Sure.
So it used to be you would have to defrag your computer every so often. And what that meant is it would just take all of the files that were kind of scattered on the hard drive and it would condense them down into like one area and more neatly stack them in blocks so that you could create more room.
It'd be like if you had confetti all over the place and then sweeping it all into the corner.
Yeah.
Basically.
So basically that's what it was doing. So what your brain is doing at night is like, all right, these things that I learned, these are the important things that I need to remember. And it goes and it puts it in and stores it in your brain, right? And then all the things that are ancillary that I don't need to remember, like I don't need to remember each individual piece of grass I saw. I don't need to go remember all the trees that I saw today. I don't need to remember this or all the cars I saw. And it just basically goes through and gets rid of that information.
But how badass would it be if you could?
Super badass.
Like, is it real, like people with photographic memories that they can remember every detail of something?
I don't think it's as in-depth as remembering every single piece of grass, but it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. There are people that have these abilities, and we may or may not get into that here shortly.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, long story short, when your body's going through all this and it's kind of replaying maybe your whole day or whatever you learned, your cortex is actively trying to make sense of all of these things at the same time. And so while you're dreaming, your dream may just be the byproduct or the output that occurs while all this is happening. And so then you're just seeing all these random things happen and go by and situations that are just being all put together because your brain is trying to create a narrative out of all of this nonsense. And to me, that seems to be like, from what I've seen, the most logical of the explanations. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Trav?
Concur.
Alan?
I concur with Trav.
Well played. But anyway, so that is, a little bit about dreams. And then they have said that dreams actually can help spur creativity as well. So dreaming could actually be another output for creativity. And then here's some just quick things that have happened in history that apparently were figured out by dreams. So Elias Howe is the creator of the sewing machine, and he figured out how to create the sewing machine after dreaming about wild savages that were threatening and poking him with spears. And when he looked down at the spears, each of the spears had holes near the tips. So he figured out that he could then create a needle with a hole near the tip and create a sewing machine, apparently.
Oh.
And then another guy, Dmitry Mendeleev, he's the one that created the periodic table of elements. He was trying very hard for a long time to figure out, how am I going to organize all these elements into some coherent chart or something?
Coherent?
Like,
he did a very good job.
And it wasn't until he had a dream that he saw all of the elements stacked neatly and organized in columns and rows that he came up with, like, oh, I could just do that.
I could do that. And then, like, what's gold?
AG, isn't it? Or AU? AU or AG?
Yeah. I think AU.
AU.
I don't know.
I think
Is there an A or even a U in gold?
Well, I didn't say that he did it well, alphabetically. I just said he just. He put them in rows, and
you said in an order, like in a coherent order. I beg to differ that it is not coherent.
But I think back when he created it and in whatever language, gold, it was AU was representative of the word gold that they used. Or something like
sure.
I think that's something that would be good if you would want to come up with the questions.
Maybe
research that.
Oh, okay, guys. All right.
Oh man, Alan's just got all kinds of freebies.
My segments are booked out for a month.
But yeah, and then finally a guy named Friedrich August Kekule figured out
Kool-Aid?
I don't know, but this is the guy that came up with how carbon atoms could be linked together, and he came up with this after he had a dream where he saw snakes twisting, and then one snake started eating its tail, and then that's how he came up with what he calls the ring structure. Now, I don't know enough about carbon atoms to know if that's how they're linked together, but I'm assuming they must be linked together as some kind of a chain. That would just be my guess. Then you guys concur?
Concur.
I always know when Trav just I don't really know what to say right now. He just has this look on his face. All right. That's enough about dreaming. Another thing that sleep can be good for is memory. So this is where Alan was asking a question earlier, right? So I'm going to just tell you guys a little story about a lady named Rebecca Sherrock. All right? Most of us have had few hazy memories from the first few years of our lives. Rebecca Sherrock can recall being just 12 days old, lying on a sheepskin in the front seat of a car.
BS.
Staring up at the steering wheel and wondering what it was. 12 days old.
Days? Oh, I thought you said years.
The 26-year-old from Brisbane is one of 80 people worldwide with a condition called highly superior autobiographical memory, HSAM for short, which means she remembers every moment of her life in extraordinary detail. She even has memories from before that 12th day, but can't date them because she was so young.
Well, you would be within 12 days.
How can she date the 12th day?
Apparently, on the 12th day, she learned how to date things. I don't know. But before that, she's like, I don't know if this was day 10 or 11.
Yeah, on the 12th.
She could have thrown a dart and maybe landed on the right day. She only had 11 days.
At 12 days old,
She had a 9% chance of picking correctly.
At 12 days old, her mom showed her first calendar.
And she's like, oh, well, this makes sense. 12 days.
This is the day you were born. And 12 days later, here we are. That's it.
But anyway, and the story continues. Name a random day from 20 years ago, and Rebecca can tell you what she was wearing, what the weather was like, and the exact sequence of things she did and saw. As a Harry Potter fan, Rebecca has memorized every word of all 7 books. In year 1 and year 2, she began reading the Atlas and could recite the capital of every country in the world. At the age of 1.5, she began having dreams, and she remembers every single one. Her first was about looking through a circular window into a room filled with oranges, a fruit she loved as a child. Her memory isn't photographic. Instead, she has a strong recollection of sequences down to the smallest detail. So, you guys think that me remembering my dreams is impressive. She remembers every dream she's had. I only remember some of them.
We need to get her on the show, replace him, because then we'd have just unlimited content.
Rebecca Sherrock from Brisbane, if you are listening to this, contact us. We would love to have you on and read one of your dreams.
QCOpodcast.com. Yeah. Thank you.
But what may sound like a gift also has its downsides. While the 26-year-old loves how all her memories of Easters and Christmases flood over her on special occasions, she can just as easily find herself clearly reliving bad memories and nightmares. Said it right.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
When she remembers childhood injuries, she physically feels the pain all over again. Rebecca was also abused as a child and suffers post-traumatic stress disorder from her vivid recollections of the ordeal. However, there are also advantages. It's a really good technique to tell if I'm being lied to, she said. Autistic people typically can't read body language, but if the story changes over time, I can pick it out as a lie. I can also understand why a child or baby may be upset. I know how to deal with them from my experience. So basically, she can remember being a baby or a child and why she would be upset in a similar situation, I guess. So,
little story I had back in my young days. I think I was 11.
Days old?
No, just 11, like years. I remember back to 11. I was in Sunday school at church, and our Sunday school teacher was like, think back to the earliest memory you can remember. What is it? And I probably had earlier memories than this, but I could just remember being able to ride my bike for the first time, like, whatever. And so I said that, and he goes, now, do you actually remember that? Or you just are recalling it because somebody told you? And I was like, no, I remember it. He goes, well, I don't think so. Like, it was so hard for him to believe that I could remember like 6 years back. And he's like, me, on the other hand, I can remember being born. And I was like, even back then at 11, I wanted to call BS. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? You're saying I can't remember back to 6 years old, but you can remember back to day one?
what was his stance on that?
I literally don't remember.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, I can remember.
Are you sure?
So not only does he want to brag and boast about his abilities, but he also has to put down your strength.
I also don't feel like that was even like
same time.
Yeah, I don't even think it was part of the lesson. I think he just wanted to brag.
I don't think remembering when you were 6 is very strong. It's probably a weaker memory.
What?
Like, meaning that if someone's like, my first memory is at 6 years old, I don't think that's like, the guy would be like, well, that's pretty good, so I got to put him down. Like, what's your first memory?
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
He said he had to put Trav down for remembering his memory at 11 and say, no, I don't think you remembered that. But I remembered all the way back to when I was born.
And you called it his strength and then Trav's strength in that realm.
Okay.
But it's fine. Let's move on. I'll explain this to you after. Anyone who's listening, you probably caught on to what I was saying, so
no, actually,
send
they
a message
probably
to
don't. Half the time, I don't think they do. Basically, what you guys get to witness, like pretty much on a weekly basis, is just the disagreements between two brothers that I also have to just sit here and witness and listen to.
Lucky you guys. All right. So anyway, yeah. So this HSAM thing, to point out, it's not photographic memory. It's basically the superior ability for these people to store and categorize and then retrieve information once it's in their memories. And so that's like what the strength is. So these people don't have the ability to go and just like memorize pi to like the 22,000 different decimal points or to do anything like abnormally difficult like that. They just have more of an ability of, if they experience something themselves, that they just have a much better or easier time recalling it. Okay?
Hence the word autobiographical in the HSAM.
Yep, that makes sense. So with that said, basically the whole point of that story is just to say that sleeping has a huge part to do with memories and, storing memories. So you have two different types of memories. You have declarative memories and you have non-declarative memories. Declarative memories are basically the memories that you think back and you can think, oh yeah, I remember that story or whatever it is. And then non-declarative or more procedural memories, that's just when you learn how to do something like ride a bike or play the piano or do these more procedural things that your body just remembers how to do once you learn how to do them, right?
Like muscle memory type.
Yeah. So when you go to sleep, that's what aids the consolidation and integration of those memories. So when you learn something, you basically have to sleep afterwards or else you will have a hard time remembering or performing those tasks at a high level in the future. Okay, so I mean, there's a little cheat code if you guys ever want. Is if you guys learn something new, immediately go take a nap.
That's what I was gonna say. It's gonna be like if you're in training at a new job, you should have nap times,
Exactly.
or else the company's throwing their money away on training you because you're just gonna forget.
No, I mean, I really wish that they would give us nap time anyway.
Hey, you bring that up in a construction industry and see how many people agree with you.
to take a nap.
Yeah.
You could just be out on the
You're
road.
saying people don't want naps?
No, I'm saying you will be laughed at and ridiculed because you are a weakling that needs to take naps.
They might say that on the outside, but if you showed up with a bunch of hammocks and said, "Guys, lay down."
Yeah, all the laborers, but all of the foremen and
Oh,
superintendents.
you're talking about
I'm talking about the people that pay your friggin' salary.
But if they got naps too,
Nope, they wouldn't do it. They can't do it.
why?
They're incapable.
I doubt it.
Okay, we can fight about this.
I'm gonna be like your friend and when you were 11. I don't think so.
I know so much about the construction industry that I can.
I know everyone takes naps if they could. So, but no. Anyway, so that's basically what's happening. But they also found that if you take naps, you still need to sleep within 12 to 24 hours, like a full night's rest for it to fully sink in. Like the nap can help you, but it's without having the full night's sleep afterwards. You're not going to be able to consolidate that memory. Basically, because what's happening is you go to sleep and then that memory is in what you call your short-term memory banks. And then it gets transferred over to your long-term memory. And then that's where it settles. And then that's where you can retrieve it in the future when you need it. So that's kind of a really high level of what is happening while you sleep to your memory. So if you don't sleep, then you don't get to remember stuff, I guess, is basically what it is.
So it's really like a waste. It's just like a wasted day if you spent the day at school and then you don't get good sleep. Basically, it's like,
or I mean, have you ever tried to go learn something when you were tired? Like
always.
How well did that go? Like,
That is just the wrong question to ask your brother because everything he does is while he's tired.
because for example, like, have you ever read a book and then when you're reading, the next thing you know, you're just like, oh,
I have to read
what
the same
heck?
thing.
Like what
times.
was I just reading? Like, yeah, and then you have to go back, or your eyes are super droopy, and you're like, whatever. I have to take a nap first, and then I got to wake up and then try and read it again, just because I don't know. That's how I am. How about you, Trev?
Yes. You're quite. Why do you ask those questions? I don't think that's like a necessary question. I like to take naps. What about you, Trav? Sometimes when I read, I get tired. What about you? Well, do you need me to agree with you?
You could say no. I know. I never get tired when I read, and then I'd be like, oh, well, maybe I'm strange.
I just feel like it. Never mind.
All right. So, and then
I'm not gonna lie though, like I do. Okay, this morning I was super tired because I just got off work at 6 a.m. Came home, and when I know that that I'm super tired, I can feel it, and I know that I have a lot of like 10 hours before I'd have to do anything. I actually enjoy the feeling of being tired because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sleep so good. You guys, does that make sense to you guys?
wait,
Does
you
ever have that?
wake up tired and you're excited?
No,
No, he's saying when he's
Did you
going
listen
to
to
go
a word I said?
You guys are the worst.
When I'm super tired and I know I have nothing to do for like 10 hours, so that means I can sleep a long time. I enjoy that feeling in that moment because I'm like, I'm so tired. I know I'm going to sleep so good.
Gotcha. I apologize. I thought I heard you say when I woke up. Okay. So anyway, sleep also helps with obviously health. This is something that everyone knows. We don't need to go into a lot of detail on it, but basically they've done a test called a psychomotor vigilance test. Basically, they flashlights do sounds, and then you push a button when you see the flashes lights and do sounds. So they found that if you are limited to 4 hours of sleep for 6 nights, you're equivalent to somebody who has not slept for one full day. You get the same test results. If you're limited to 4 hours of sleep for 12 nights, you're equal to somebody who hasn't slept for 2 full days. So basically meaning, hey, if you're not getting enough sleep in a night in, night out basis, so like a lot of people so if you have 6 hours of sleep a night instead of maybe the 8 hours you need for 11 days in a row, then that's equivalent to not sleeping for 1 full day. So that's probably most people, like sleep for 6 hours a night throughout the whole week. And then on top of that, they found that, hey, if you just try and catch up on sleep on the weekends, not going to happen.
The other night I slept for 12 hours. I was also puking the whole day before. So I needed it.
Yeah, your body was just trying to recover from being sick. But yeah, so I mean, it just shows you like, hey, if you can't just go every day and be like, look, I'll just catch up on the weekend, because that's not how it works. Go to one of the previous, I think it was the first episode.
First
sleep episode, right? That we talked about how you just can't catch up. So finally, to wrap this up, the reason that I use that clip at the beginning, right? Do you guys remember what the clip was?
Yes.
American Sniper.
Yes. So now that we've gone all this way and you're like, why did he play that clip?
I actually forgot about it. And
So did I.
But it's because the character and the guy in real life suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome, right? PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just due to the fact that he went on like 4 different deployments. The things that he saw while he was out there affected him enough that it was just made it very, very difficult for him to like just acclimate back into society properly. This is a common occurrence for a lot of people that kind of see these things, but it doesn't have to be just military. It could be various things that cause people to have this syndrome or this PTSD. So they're now starting to work down a path where they think that maybe there's a way that they can use sleep or a weird disruption of sleep to actually help cure people of PTSD. Because what's happening is somebody has PTSD is they go to bed, they have a dream about whatever the occurrence was that created or caused the PTSD in the first place. They wake up from that nightmare, and then see how good I'm getting at that?
Mm-hmm.
I've been practicing it all week.
he's just in the mirror. Nightmare. Nightmare.
It's not a nightmare, it's a nightmare. So yeah, so basically they wake up. So what did we just learn about memory is that when you go to sleep, it consolidates memory, right? Mm-hmm. So they wake up, they replay the entire event in their head, then they fall back asleep, which then further integrates that memory into their brain. So it's just like this vicious cycle of like, it keeps happening. They wake up, they replay it, they go to sleep, that even beds it further into their brain. So now they're finding, if we can find a way where now the person has the nightmare, wakes up, and then prevent them from going back to sleep immediately, or find a way to fragment their sleep afterwards and prevent that memory from further embedding itself into their brain.
Yeah.
Then they found that they may be able to actually, over time, slowly weaken the emotional valence of the memory, and then hopefully cure them of at least a severe portion of that PTSD.
It's like if you have a memory, immediately wake up and watch like not Scooby-Doo, I guess. But what's My Little Pony? Or would that give you more nightmares?
That would give me more PTSD, but
Or maybe you just become a brony.
nope. Won't ever happen.
So anyway, I thought that was just interesting, a way that you could actually maybe find a cure for something using sleep as, you know, in this case, it wouldn't actually be using sleep itself. It would be using a lack of sleep for a while to actually cure you of something else, because they're starting to understand how memory and all that works and how it's correlated to sleep.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. Finally, well, that was it. That's no finally.
There's no finally, because you already said finally.
A couple things. Socially, this brings up issues with, I mean, now that we have all the science to back up how important sleep is, I mean, there are some people who they just cannot afford, like, they have to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs. So they're always not getting enough sleep. Or how do you get out of that cycle? Like,
no, it's tough.
You have to have the money to live.
It's super tough, and there's situations
you have to get sleep to be healthy. So it's like you're in a situation where you have to sacrifice either your health or your.
And I'm not saying that it's like a simple solution or it's super easy to fix for everyone's situation. I mean, if you lived in a third world country or somewhere that's like under constant siege or something like that, I don't think I could sleep if I just never knew when like a bomb was going to go off or something like that, right? And I think for that reason, in those areas that you do have like increased chance of panic and and all kinds of just more things could go wrong.
Yeah.
Because there's just everyone's on a lack of sleep, right? So I mean, in some ways you just have to be happy that you live in Utah, in a first world country, and for the most part that's not a problem. Like people might have to deal with work or something like that. But it is finding that balance, because I found personally that if I can find a way to have a good night's sleep, that I can be so much more productive the next day than I would have otherwise. And that's what I always remind myself. It's like, you know what? I really want to watch one more episode of this show, but I know if I don't get at least 7 hours of sleep tonight, that I'm going to be like half as productive tomorrow as I would be otherwise. And that's because I just lost 1 hour of sleep.
And I also, the other issue I wanted to bring up real quick is just like I think these days sleep it's been stigmatized. There's a stigma about it that like if you sleep that means you're lazy. Like hard workers don't need to sleep.
I think it just depends on the amount of sleep person, because most productive people, they're getting the normal amount of sleep, but then they have a sleep schedule. And we could get into the fact that like, there's certain jobs that, kind of throw you off a little bit, but if you are basically, so let's, for example, I mean, you work Graves, right?
Yeah.
When I worked Graves for the hotel, I got in at 10 p.m. started work at 10 p.m., got off work at 6 a.m. I went home. I immediately jumped in bed. My goal was to go, like, seriously, be asleep no later than 7. So I gave myself an hour from the time I got off to the time I, got home, got ready, jumped in bed, head hit the pillow, eyes are shut. And then I wouldn't have to be back to work till 6 p.m. that night. Yeah. But I knew that if I didn't set an alarm, like I was going to bed so I set an alarm at 3. I gave myself exactly 8 hours, and I made myself get up because I was like, I can't sleep throughout the day or else I'm going to become less and less productive. Yeah. So and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that, you see somebody like taking a nap or something and, the funny thing is, say you're lazy, but I mean, if they're being productive, if they're just like sleeping like literally all the time, then probably laziness. But if you're being, if you have a schedule, you're making sure that you're getting your 8 hours. I also think that if you're getting your 8 hours, you may not need a nap, but that's just me.
But I think for me, that comes back to the circadian rhythm thing. So it's like you get your certain amount of sleep that you need per night, but then if you have a natural ebb and flow, if you can take advantage of it, because not everyone can. Like at some jobs you can't. Like you said, if you're a construction worker, you probably can't just lay down on the side of the road and take a nap whenever you want, right? But if you have a job where you actually can take a break here and there when you want, then maybe you can time those breaks to be specifically fit, like when your body kind of starts to hit a lull and then you take a quick nap. Some people have suggested, hey, drink a caffeinated beverage right before you take your nap. And then it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for that caffeine to kick in. And so it's actually timed perfectly. You go crash for 15 to 20 minutes, you wake up, and then the caffeine kicks in at the same time. And then all of a sudden you're super productive for like the next 3 or 4 hours. So it's a fine balance. It's knowing your own body, deciding what works for you, and then figuring it out, and then creating habits around that. And then ultimately find that perfect optimal situation and then just go from there. And hopefully you're way more productive than you would have been otherwise.
All right, let's move on to the next question here, Alan.
Still going.
So you ran out of words, you don't know what to say. Now I'm singing now that the song has gone away.
You guys ruined my intro.
No, we didn't. We actually added to it.
No, and not that part, because this whole time I planned on, as soon as that music stops, I go, ladies and gentlemen. But then Danny's still just singing.
I mean, you say you wrote me in with you guys. I mean, I did mine before, and I was done before it ended.
Yeah. And then I was wondering why I didn't get a song during my sounder from Trav.
Because yours was 1 minute and 15 seconds.
And a movie scene.
1 minute and 18 seconds.
Okay.
Did you feel like you were in that movie, though?
No.
No.
All right.
Trav never answers the right way.
Because most of his questions are just leading because he wants you to say something anyway, specifically.
Wait, hand me that coin.
I'm going to use opposite psychology. Reverse psychology.
Opposite psychology.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Solar System Trivia Part 1. Mercury and the Sun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ready, guys? All right, so this is pretty straightforward and easy. Danny, there's no game theory behind it.
I will find the theory.
Every single-
and I will game it.
There are 15 questions. Every single question is just worth a point. If you get it right, 0 points if you get it wrong. Chance to steal for the other person.
So there's 15 questions. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to go first.
No, that's what the coin is here for. I'm not going to just give you that advantage.
So why would you build that game theory in?
Oh my gosh, there's no game theory. He just said it. Okay, flip the coin.
All right. Who's going to call it?
I'll call it.
And this is for who goes first.
Call it. Tails.
Wait, is that Tails? No, yeah. Tails.
What?
Trav is first.
If you get it wrong, can the other person answer?
He just said that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Will you listen to
He
each
never
other?
listens to the game
Both of
show
you guys never listen to each other.
instruction.
I feel like we could trim this show down about a half hour just without having to repeat ourselves.
Okay, so how this is going to work, you pick a number 1 through 15, and I ask you a question. I'll give you a reasonable amount of time to answer it, but if you start taking too long, I have this countdown.
10, 9.
Okay, I will do whatever I can to not hear that. So, all right.
I am counting.
No, I just feel like it would be very distracting. I wouldn't be able to answer anyway. So then we'd just be hearing 10, 9, 8 all the way through. So anyway, okay. I am going to go with number 6.
Number 6. All right, let me find number 6. On Mercury, temperatures from day to night vary as much as 400 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 800 to minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit, 1400 to minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or a blistering 2080 to a mind-numbingly frigid minus 800 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm going to go with C. That
1400
Yep.
to minus 50.
No, yeah. 1400 minus. You remembered that?
Yeah, so I just
Nope.
So this is Mercury.
Do you want me to read them again?
No, I mean, I think I got it. But this
Yeah,
is Mercury. And you're saying it can experience these heats in what?
So it's day side
tonight.
to its night side. It can have this range of temperature. So from 400 to, 400 down to 200 Fahrenheit, 800 down to minus 290 Fahrenheit, 1400 down to minus 50 Fahrenheit, or 2080 down to minus 800 Fahrenheit.
Oh, I know what my real answer would be.
So it's either B or D, because we know it's not C, and I'm pretty sure it's not A, because you wouldn't have put it on A on number 6. That just doesn't make sense.
This game is going to take years
10,
if you have to
9,
explain to us your
8,
thought process.
7,
I think 2000 something
6,
seems too
5,
hot.
4,
so I'm going to go with B.
3.
B?
I was going to say B2 because after I actually listened to him, that was the one that was more specific on the number. It was like minus 290, while everything else was even.
Trav's figured out the game theory.
Okay.
All right. Dan gets a point. Who's up? Dan?
Jenny.
Number 9.
Number 9. True or false? Our solar system makes one orbit around the center of the Milky Way galaxy every 2.5 million years.
I have a 50% chance at this. This sucks because I give the answer to Trav if I get it wrong.
So one orbit around the Milky Way in 2.5 million years. True or false?
True.
False.
Dang it!
That's a point for Trav.
That went south quickly.
Yes. I would have said true too. But that's just because I get true or false wrong all the time.
So it would take about 300,000 years to orbit our galaxy traveling at the speed of light. Knowing that, it's no wonder that it takes our solar system 250 million years to make the trek, not 2.5 million.
Dummy.
Oh, I thought
Actually-
you said 250 million.
No, you didn't. You can't lie your way out of this. That's actually, I'm going to dock you a point if you do that.
No, I really did. We'll listen back to this.
I totally forgot on the first question that I prepared a little like quip of knowledge after each question.
All right,
and
what
I
was
forgot to read that one. So that was the temperatures on Mercury. With no real atmosphere to shield it from the sun's heat on its day side and trap heat on its night side, Mercury experiences a vast range of temperatures, which is 800 degrees Fahrenheit down to minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's over 1,000 degrees that it experiences.
2, please.
2. The sun contains what percentage of the total mass in the solar system? 99.86, 90.67, 51.67, 23.32.
23.32.
So of the,
Incorrect.
of the total mass in our solar system,
Yeah. The sun contains what percentage of the total mass in our solar system?
the the B, whatever it was, 90.3 or whatever.
90.67?
Yeah.
There's 2 in the 90s. 99.86
Yeah, not
or
the 99, the
90.67.
90.67.
Okay. Nobody gets a point.
It's 50. Dang it. Is there that much more in mass?
No, it's A, the first one, 99.86.
This is a lie.
If he doesn't get
The
it,
sun
it's a lie.
is pretty big. Not people don't realize. You think Jupiter's big, but Jupiter is not even a freaking tenth. It's about a 10th of a percent of. No, wait. Does that math work? Yeah, it's about that.
You could say that, and I think majority of us would just agree with you.
So the mass the mass of the sun is approximately 330,000 times greater than that of Earth. It is almost 3/4 hydrogen, while most of the remaining mass is helium.
All right, Dan, go for it.
You just picked 2?
2, 6, and 9 are gone.
Are you keeping track?
4.
Sweet thing. 4. A 100-pound person would weigh how many pounds on the surface of Mercury? 8 pounds, 18 pounds, 28 pounds, or 38 pounds?
Mercury's pretty dense, but it's not as dense as Earth. It's much smaller than Earth. So B, 18 pounds.
Incorrect.
What were the options again?
A 100-pound person would weigh how much on Mercury? 8 pounds, 18 pounds, 28 pounds, 38 pounds.
I'm going to go with 28. Mother's
Man,
cookies.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah, of course it is. I literally am guessing every single one of these.
But there are some easier ones.
Is it 8 pounds?
And like
I was gonna say
the
8
true
pounds,
the
but-
true point of this are these little quips I prepared to give knowledge,
Oh, okay.
to learn you something. Just kidding. So the correct answer is 38 pounds.
Dang it.
Of the planets in our solar system, Mercury has the lowest surface gravity, which is 38% that of the Earth.
Number 12, please.
12. How long is a year on Mercury?
Easy. It is a year.
That was going to be my answer.
I mean in Earth years or days.
What are the options?
1.7 Earth years, 88 Earth days, 13 Earth days, 17 hours.
I'm going to say 88 Earth
You
days.
son of a bitch.
Yes.
That one was
Correct.
easy.
Woohoo, I got 2 and I'm winning.
You have 2? Oh, yeah, because the
2 to
false
1.
one. Freaking false one's going to haunt me.
Wait, what is that?
Danny is nervously shaking in his chair because he can't stand that I'm up 1.
This is killing me.
All right, who's up?
Danny.
Dan?
14.
14. Mercury's surface is scarred with one of the largest known basins, and a basin is a crater that measures over 155 miles in diameter. So Mercury is surface is scarred with one of the largest known basins in our solar system called the Caloris Basin. What is the diameter of the Caloris Basin? This one's going to be pretty much just guessing. No, wait, never mind. I figured you guys would not know, so these are your choices that I put. So what is the diameter of the Caloris Basin? A, the diameter of your mom's ass.
Okay.
B, the diameter of my mom's ass. C, 963 miles. Or D, the diameter of both our mom's asses put together.
Trav, I want you.
Hey, anyone could have picked this one.
C.
God, this is so stupid.
As in, I will see my way to another point. Yeah.
This large surface formation was probably caused by an impacting asteroid with a diameter of above 100 kilometers. It must have been a tremendously violent event. The seismic waves, and this part's cool, the seismic waves that were produced from the impact traveled through the planet and focused on the other side of the planet. Exactly opposite the Caloris Basin, they produced a strange-looking region that was first described as the weird terrain with a chaotic mix of hills and fractures.
So it like went so far that it like almost started, it like pushed surface out the other side.
Well, no, the shock wave went around the surface of Mars and all came together at the same point on the other side and like pushed up like hills and mountains and stuff.
Crazy.
That's how big the impact was.
Number 7, please.
Number 7. Wait, Danny got that right?
Yes.
So it's
we're
2-2.
tied 2-2.
I'm glad you're also keeping score because I forget. All right, 7. How hot is it at the sun's core? 2 billion degrees, and these are all in Fahrenheit. 2 billion degrees, 1.2 billion degrees, 2.7 million degrees, or 27 million degrees.
I'm just going to say 1 point whatever billion. Stupid.
Would you like to steal, Danny? No, you took
core?
Yeah, how hot is it at the sun's core? 2 billion degrees, 1.2 billion, 2.7 million, or 27 million?
It's the 1.2 billion, Danny.
2.7 million or 27 million
2 billion, 1.2 billion, or 27 million.
or 2.7 million, you said is another
Or
option.
2.7 million.
I'm going to go with 27 million. If not, okay, yes, I would like to.
Such an. Okay.
All right,
No,
Danny takes the lead.
I knew it the whole time. Okay.
Producing the energy equivalent to millions of nuclear bombs going off every second, the sun's core fuses hydrogen into helium at a hellish 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
See, I knew that it wasn't in the billions because the technology where you splice off energy, fission, like,
Fusion.
happens at a higher temperature or something.
Oh, you know what? I should have thought about that. Ass. I knew it because of fission.
God.
Pick your
jeez.
next one.
Like, I will go with numero uno because that's the place I'll be in at the end of this competition.
All right. Well, sorry, Trav. Mercury is the blank planet from the sun. 7th,
I don't know.
1st, 2nd, or 4th.
Okay, I'm going to have to decipher this.
Do you know this one, Trav?
Mercury.
I actually don't because I'm freaking dumb when it comes to anything outside of our solar or our
How many?
atmosphere.
How do you spell Mercury, Trav?
What?
Mercury. That has 7 letters in it. So automatically, if it has 7 letters, I'm going to say that it's not going to be the 7th from the sun. So we're
10,
going to have to
9,
hurry and do
8.
this.
You should just
Seven.
do that.
I know.
At the very
Six.
I
beginning.
know. I know.
5,
I know. I know.
4,
I know.
3,
She's going to answer
2,
for me right
1,
now.
0.
That's
Hey.
I'm gonna. But
I
it
would have.
should be.
I would have said one, but because I kind of know, even though. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Danny loses 2 points.
No.
Just kidding.
I got a point there.
Okay.
Yes, it's the first planet from the sun. At a distance of 36 million miles, Mercury is the innermost planet.
All right. Let's go with 10.
10. How much mass does the sun lose every second by converting it into pure energy through nuclear reactions? I mentioned this once before in a podcast. of
Oh,
ours,
let me
but
just remember back to that.
1.2 trillion pounds, 40 million pounds, 8.6 billion pounds, 300 pounds.
Let's go 40 million.
The trillion one.
All right.
Billion one.
I like when neither of
Yep.
us get it. Because at least you're not getting it.
This was part of one of our podcast episodes. You guys just don't know still.
Is about the weight loss.
Yeah, how much mass?
I think that might have been on a lost episode.
Oh, maybe.
Doesn't matter.
But we were
both-
still
we're
there
all
for
still
it.
there. That doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh well, we haven't actually aired it, so that means it didn't happen.
So the correct answer to how much mass the sun loses every second by converting it into pure energy is 8.6 billion pounds. Einstein's equation E equals mc squared shows us that mass and energy are just two sides of the same coin. Mass can be converted into energy, and energy can be converted into mass.
Dun dun dun.
All right, Dan, pick.
Still 4-2. How many do you have left?
Few.
Let's go 15.
15. Where is that?
It's probably the last one you got.
Good job.
You don't know if I ordered them
Probably at the
numerically
bottom.
on my notes. From Earth, the sun appears. Oh, you guys should know this. Wait, this is yours, Trav? You
No.
should know this.
I don't. It's not mine.
Oh, it isn't?
Mine. Hurry.
I feel bad for Trav now. From Earth, the sun appears yellow, but what is generally accepted as its actual color?
White.
I didn't. I didn't.
You don't.
say the.
you don't
12.
need it. The choices because we knew it.
Fine, but I will read that.
Like I even just put
choices-
the mark down before he even said anything.
The choices were black, gold, coral, and white.
Because what are the odds that I know something that he doesn't about this whole thing? And so if I knew it,
You got the false one
Okay.
because I got it wrong.
yeah, but I didn't know it. I would have chosen true. So
Oh,
if
yeah,
I
this is
knew
50-50.
something,
But I picked wrong and you picked right.
oh good heavens, Dan. Okay,
So Danny was correct. It's white. The sun only appears yellow to us on Earth because our atmosphere scatters away the blues. In space, the sun looks white.
let's go with number 3.
3. Where is that in my notes? Maybe after 2?
I was gonna say probably the third one.
Before 4.
All right. How many Earths can fit inside the sun? 20, 1,000, 1,000,000, 20,000.
What was it again?
How many Earths can fit inside the sun? 20, 1,000, 1,000,000, or 20,000?
1,000,000.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay.
Woo! I'm actively cheering for one of them.
Why does Trav get the easy ones?
Oh, cool.
All right. I got to read my quip. With a diameter of 864,340 miles, 109 times that of the Earth, you can find the volume of the two bodies using the equation V equals 4/3 pi r cubed, and then divide to deduce how many Earths can fit inside the sun.
Deduce. All right, Dan, you got 5, 8, 11, or 13.
Let's go lucky number 13.
Wait, what question was that I just read? 3?
Yep.
13. True or false?
Good heavens.
Dang it.
Mercury is so close to the sun and thus so hot, it's impossible for ice to exist on its surface.
Oh, I know the answer to this one.
False.
Thank you. We already talked about how cold it gets.
Yeah, it helps that we know it gets to negative 290 degrees. So
That's on its night side,
Doesn't matter.
Still
We're talking
on the
about still on the
surface.
surface of a freaking.
which comes around to its.
but then it melts and then it refreezes. Then it melts and it refreezes. That's the
Okay.
thing with water.
Fine, but that's not the reason. There's ice on Mercury.
So much gravity.
Ice was found at its poles at the bottoms of deep craters where the sun's light can never reach. Ooh. Because they're like at an angle on the poles, and so the light can't get to the bottom of those craters.
So it's constantly ice.
All right, let's go with. I can tie if I get the last 3 correct. So let's go with number 5.
Wait, what's the score?
6-3.
Oh. 4? Or what would you say?
5.
5. True or false? Mercury is not the hottest planet in our solar system.
Is not
Yeah.
true.
Dang it, you're always right. Venus
Yes,
is the
it's
hottest.
true. Mercury is not the hottest planet in our solar system. With its incredibly thick atmosphere, which holds heat in, Venus gets the trophy for hottest planet in our solar system, registering surface temperatures of up to 864 degrees Fahrenheit. So like 64 degrees more than Mercury.
Wow.
8 or 11.
It's like a greenhouse. Oh, wow. I'm going to do 8.
8. How long does it take the sun's light to reach Earth? 29 seconds.
8 minutes.
Hang on.
Oh.
Okay, if that's your answer.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, if you're going to be an a-hole about it.
Well, I know
just
it's
guess.
like and something seconds, so let's continue.
He's stupid. How long? Okay, how long does it take the sun's light to reach Earth? 29 seconds.
Okay.
15 minutes and 40 seconds. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Or instantaneously.
I'm going to say 8 minutes and 20 seconds. This is mine.
No, it's mine. I
Because
picked
Danny got
number
it
8.
wrong?
I
Well,
picked number 8.
You
I didn't
answered previous.
I didn't get to finish. I said 8 minutes,
Then
and then
wait.
he's like, "Is that your answer?" And I was like, "I didn't get to
No.
finish the 20 seconds."
You did not say that.
because I got cut off at 8 minutes.
Wait, what's the score?
Okay, so in this scenario,
Trav needs both this and the next one.
in this scenario, this is
If
this
I
is how you
don't
go.
get it.
How long does it take for the light to get from the sun to the earth, Danny? 8 minutes. Oh wait, you didn't let me finish the 20 seconds.
Okay, you know what? I am giving this one to Trav.
cheating.
Cheating! Stop being so cocky.
So wait, what is the score right now?
5-6. You know you're gonna win, or at least tie. You can't lose, so you should not worry. Really and truly, it comes down to all the pressure on me now.
Dun dun dun.
Question 11, right? That's what we're left with.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Trav, you can get your.
You should have said 8 minutes. I probably would
I
have
said
chosen-
8
Didn't you
minutes.
ever listen to your teachers in school?
And he immediately cut me off, and he said,
No, he said, "Is that your answer?"
and I said, just continue reading your question.
No.
Did you not listen to your teachers in school where they said, make sure you read all the instructions first? All right, question 11. And this is Trav's, right?
Yep.
How many moons does Mercury have? A, 0, B, 1, C, 2, or D, 0 moons, but it does have a super dim and diffuse ring that was discovered in 2016.
I feel like that's very specific. I'm going to go with that one.
D?
Why is that in there?
What do you mean? Is that your final answer?
I guess. Why is that in there? Why is that so specific?
0.
Because I wanted to make it tricky.
You are just like every single other person who creates tests. You don't want them to get them right. You want them to get them wrong.
0, and because the sun's gravitational pull is too strong, it would pull anything that was trying to orbit Mercury away.
Okay.
got-
-7 points for being a douche.
So yeah, it's 0. Mercury has 0 moons. But, and here's the reason why. Because of its low gravity, Mercury hasn't been able to hold onto a moon or rings. And I forgot to read my little quip on how long it takes the sunlight to reach Earth. So I'm going to read it now. Although traveling between 2 points at 186,000 miles per second may seem instantaneous to us, on larger scales, it takes light a significant amount of time to traverse the 93 million miles between the sun and the Earth.
Yeah.
All right, guys, but the game's not over because I have prepared a bonus winner-take-all question.
Oh, so basically everything we've done up to this point didn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, whose line is it anyways? I
Okay.
don't care.
I don't like this game.
So this question goes to whoever was losing at the time.
Oh, me.
Or else it's pointless because it's winner take all. So Trav, for the game, the sun is approximately midway through its lifespan. How old is it? 4.5 billion years, 300 million years, 1.5 billion years, as old as God Almighty himself.
Well, I'd probably say that one, but I know that's not it. So I'm going to say the 4.5 billion.
You suck.
Yay, I win.
And here's the winner song.
All right, I'll take back my douche note that I wrote here.
Danny seems so genuinely angry right now.
Well, that was the most skewed,
The last-
lopsided, cheatful game I
He
ever
told
seen.
you there was absolutely no game theory to it. But I honestly haven't seen a Barnes look like that since I did better on a test in English than your brother. So, but anyway, awesome. Well, thanks, Alan. That was wonderful.
We learned a lot. So I would assume the next time we have trivia, it's going to be about Venus and Earth.
Well,
Or are you skipping Earth and going straight to Mars?
I might skip Earth
Okay.
because we know enough about Earth already.
He hates Earth.
Us Earth.
So
He can't wait to get off this rock. He's
Yeah.
trying to get his $25 million to buy a spaceship.
But no, don't ruin it by just going and studying your ass off all on Mars.
I promise you, I will not. So I like to.
We'll only study
I
what
like-
I already know.
I like to be surprised. So, but all right. Well, let's move on from some stuff about
Solar system
solar
trivia.
systems trivia to maybe some space on Earth. So,
The alien showed my mind the furnace of all creation, what we would call God.
What? These fancy cats are seeing God. Meanwhile, I'm starting.
was that it?
Did I cut it off?
Must have cut it off pretty early, but that's okay.
How far did you want that to go? Like another 10, 15 seconds?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly where it was supposed to shut off, but I don't think it was that quick, but that's fine. So, my question, as I stated before, what is the deal with this whole Area 51 thing. And let me start out by saying, if you are like me, you might not always be up to date with the latest trends or happenings going on, around like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yes, as a podcast, we have those things, but let's be honest. We have other things to do than just troll these sites and just look for the latest thing, right?
So by trends, you're saying like the ice bucket challenge.
Ice bucket challenge, yep. Which
I think the fact that that's what I'm naming probably sheds light on how out of date we are.
Yep. Well, I go into something else in just a second if you hold on. So when a bunch of memes popped up about a month ago about Area 51, I was super confused. I had no clue what was going on. However, you'd think that was enough for me to want to actually look into it. No.
I haven't seen these.
Most people go, you haven't? You haven't seen anything about Area 51 lately?
No.
I've heard things on like the news, but I haven't actually seen social media posts about it.
Well, Alan, you're in for a treat.
All right.
So, and I was actually...
Because I literally don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what...
I was actually having a conversation with Danny the other day, and I said, hey, why hasn't Alan done something like on this topic? And he goes, oh, you should tell him about it. And then when I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to do it. So...
Well, you guys already gave me like 4.
That's true. We did give you 4. So, but most people, with what they do, I know damn straight that Danny would do this. He has a question or a thought or something. He's going to Google it and he's going to figure it out. He's going to spend the time to do that. I didn't care.
You didn't care enough, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I was curious. I was curious, but it still wasn't important enough for me to actually make the effort to find out more.
This doesn't surprise me because we're talking about the dude who literally walked into a circle of prancing full-grown male ponies, and was like, "This is weird." But I don't really want to look this up. So until like 7 years later.
So finally this week, I couldn't take it anymore. And I had to know. Total sidebar. This is the exact same thing that happened during that whole Harlem Shake thing. If you guys remember the Harlem Shake.
Remember the dance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I still am not sure what the hell that was all about. In fact, in preparation for this, because I'm not talking about the Harlem Shake, but I looked it up on YouTube again, and I was like, what the hell was this? It's like just all of a sudden, people are just like standing there, and then it cuts, and then it cuts back, and they're all doing crazy things. It's like, why? I feel like there needs to be
like entire just football teams did it.
Why?
So wait, what was the Harlem Shake? Like I remember it was like a dance thing, but
well, I don't know. I didn't. This isn't what was the whole Harlem Shake thing.
I thought you said you looked it up.
No, I just looked up like a Harlem Shake on YouTube, like just to.
They would just cut away and
just
to
remember,
back and everyone would be shaking.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, they'd be dancing, not shaking, but like the dance was the Harlem Shake. So I don't know what they'd be doing, but anyway, if you remember that, it was stupid, but whatever. So, in case you want to know about Area 51, which Alan obviously does, because he's never heard of it, apparently.
I've heard of Area 51.
Well, no, the whole craze with Area 51 right now. So here you go. So back on June 27th, a public event was created on Facebook called Storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us. So... The brains behind this event is a college student by the name of Maddie Roberts. And if you'd like to go to the Facebook event, so go to Facebook, go to events page, and it'll probably just be there. But you can just search Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop All of Us, and it'll pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a hot thing right now that it's everywhere. So which is... kind of baffles me that you haven't seen it. So the event currently has 2 million people plus 2 million, not 2 million plus 2 million. It's 2 million plus people saying that they will attend this event.
Wait, how many?
more than 2 million people are saying they're going to this event.
So
of storming.
Is there like a date of when this event's
Yes,
supposed to
Danny.
take place? Okay.
Don't worry, I will get to things. But 2 million people are saying they're going to go to this event, which is storming Area 51, with another 1.4 million interested. And the details on the event page are lined out as followed. We will meet up at Area 51 Alien Center Tourist Attraction and coordinate our entry. If we Naruto run, we can move faster than their bullets. Let's see them aliens.
The hell's Naruto run?
So Naruto is I'm surprised you don't know this because you are Japanese. It is an anime show or cartoon. Obviously, they're all cartoons, but it's an anime. I think it's a ninja guy, and the Naruto run is like they run with their arms behind them.
Oh, and they're like
they can run faster or something like that.
because they're like more.
So basically,
aerodynamic.
the guy's saying, "Hey, let's all meet up at this alien tourist site or center. We'll talk about how we're going to storm Area 51, and if they shoot at us, as long as we run Naruto style, they will not hit us." And we can get through and see the aliens. Okay? So
What's their reasoning for Naruto style? Like, why would they not be able to be shot?
It says if we Naruto run, we can move faster than their bullets. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're just putting your face out front to be shot.
Okay. So now to be clear, I am not going, nor am I interested. However, in the suggested events on the same page, there is a 3rd annual Salt Lake City Taco Fest going on that's got my name written all over it. So that one I might go to. Okay, you might be thinking to yourself, which is a lot of stuff that you just kind of brought out, Alan, this has to be a joke, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what is...
Yeah.
Like, nobody believes that they're going to... If you run with your hands behind you... You're going to be able to run faster than bullets. I feel like, excuse me, that would have already been discovered by now. So,
because I'm pretty sure my son runs with his arms behind him.
I've seen him do that. I've also seen my nephew, my son's done it a couple of times. They're not running faster than bullets. So, all right. So if that's what you're thinking, then you are mostly correct. While I can guarantee that there are those diehard nerds out there willing to get shot over this, Mr. Matty Roberts issued this statement in the comment section directed towards the U.S. government. And it reads, P.S. Hello, U.S. government. This is a joke. And I do not actually intend to go ahead with this plan. I just thought it would be funny and get me some thumbs uppies on the internet.
So it's really all a ploy.
Yeah.
For some light.
And judging by the amount of interest that has been drudged up, I say he's successful.
Well, here on
why
the,
do we not do this with our
on
stuff?
the Facebook page, there's a link to like their official website. If
Yes.
you go to the official website, it's basically all just official merchandise.
And they have a song, like an official song.
So it sounds like it's a lucrative thing.
So I
for
tried
them
looking
to
this
just
up in
basically sell
advance,
merchandise.
but it's not coming up for me.
Just go to Facebook and search Area 50. What did I say?
Storm Area
Storm
51.
Area
They can't stop us all.
Yeah.
Stop all of us.
They can't stop all of us. And you'll see it. But, yeah, it's... And this wasn't his plan. I guarantee you this wasn't his plan. He probably just posted. He probably just thought about it. It wasn't like he was like...
going to get 2 million people that wanted to actually go.
Yeah.
Which is...
He's probably like, hey...
insane.
If I got like a bunch of people, like they're not going to kill all of us, right? Hey, by the way, if we Naruto run, we can run faster than their bullets. And yeah, so that's not a real thing. And he didn't think that this was going to be as big as it was, but it ended up being that big. But anyway, so the event is going down on September 20th. this year between the hours of 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Nevada time. Hopefully, the tourist center has enough space for 2 million conspirators. Because what's funny is, although the area is not actually that big, like the town, but the hotels that they have there are already booked solid. And I think people are starting to kind of like freak out. Like, all right, how are we going to handle? Let's say that even a portion of 2 million people.
Yeah. Like if 1% of 2 million showed up, it's still a couple thousand people.
Yeah. So that is a lot of people that could be showing up for this.
That's like 20,000, 40,000.
What is?
No, 20,000. 1% of 2 million.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But so, also the military authorities have issued a caution that nobody do anything stupid. Essentially, that wasn't their words. Those were my words. But they basically were like, hey, please don't actually come in, because it is a government facility. And regardless of if there's aliens or not, there is no trespassing, and if you come on here, we will have to use force. So don't do it, because how about this, everybody? Like, if you're thinking about it, just try to Naruto run right now. If you don't run faster than a bullet, don't go, because you will be shot and you will die.
Like, test it out first. Go to a gun range. Have your friend shoot a gun at a target,
and while
you simultaneously run toward the target on the side.
Yeah.
See which gets to the target first.
Yeah. Just test some stuff out before going. Now, granted, I bet you majority of the people are going just like, hey, this is going to be a freaking cool party.
That's what I was going to ask is like, I bet you they will end up with just a giant party in the desert.
I'm sure. But there are probably tons and tons. I mean, there are probably a good percentage of those people that are like super ready to storm it. But because of that, so more than the actual event, this has actually sparked an internet meme craze, pretty much the likes of which we've never seen. And so that's, again, Alan, that's why I'm so I'm so amazed that you have not seen a single thing about it, because it's all over the place. The memes, I mean, and there's a very big possibility that if you've been on Facebook at all, you might have scrolled past something and just went past it without even thinking about it.
Now that you're talking about it, I have heard about it one time, and I remember it was a few days ago at work. One of my coworkers mentioned it, something about like everybody was going to storm Area 51, and I didn't know what he was talking about. But then I just made a joke like, they're not doing it like until September 20th. Like, they're giving that much notice to the government. I mean, they're just going to move Area 51. Yeah. Like, they're all going to get there and they'll just be like, oh yeah, we moved to Area 52.
Yeah. There's just so many memes, videos, music videos, things like that are going on right now, and it's crazy. But, when all is said and done, I mean, I went through, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to find some of my favorite memes. And as I've gone through, I've realized that although this situation is kind of funny to me, mostly because it just started from some kid who wasn't even thinking about it. It just made a comment. He's like, this will be funny. Let's create an event. And it just blew up. And
like you said, he was successful in just what his primary goal was.
Yeah, just get some thumbs
now
uppies.
He's probably selling a bunch of merch.
Yeah, he just wanted some thumbs uppies. So, but when all is said and done,
they got shirts they're selling.
There is a tweet from somebody at Touring Police, gets my sentiment exactly on target about this whole subject. And here's the tweet. The Area 51 thing isn't particularly funny, but it is sort of fun to think about how somewhere in the Pentagon, people probably had to have a meeting about this. So, I mean, that's really it. That somebody had to just be like, all right. Same thing in Area 51. They're like, all right, apparently there is a possibility that we could just have a big old group of people, 2 million people storming.
Naruto running.
Naruto running. Like, what do we do in this situation? But, anyway. So there are conversations on government levels, like secret government levels being talked about this, because some kid just wanted to make a joke who is also totally open about it. So it's just funny to me, but that's basically what's going on with right now, why people are wanting to raid Area 51.
On
And
September 20th.
On September 20th.
Trump's going to be sitting in the Situation Room watching it all go down on a big screen while his generals are talking to him.
Yeah. But anyway, there you have it, guys.
Trump's probably like, think we're going to have to put some tariffs on the aliens.
You sound exactly
I think he's from New York. I don't think he's Southern.
yeah. Tariffs on
So,
the aliens.
really quick, as you wrap this up, Trav, so there is nothing about like what specifically they're trying to, other than trying to see aliens, but
No,
they
they
don't
just
have
want-
like a specific plan of like, we were trying to uncover this, or
They're literally going to
They just want to.
Naruto run faster than bullets to see them aliens.
Yeah, I know.
He laid it out specifically. If there are any other ulterior motives, it is not being talked about because it all stems from one kid's dumb joke.
And is there anything specifically special about September 20th?
No,
Okay. I just didn't know
it's
if like
just a random
that
date.
was just like a famous day or something that in
He
history.
probably thought like, oh man, if I'm going to give people like show to this event, I don't want to do it tomorrow because it won't give enough people time to actually give me the thumbs uppies. You know? So anyway, but yeah. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. All the dream stuff done. Solar system quiz. What's up with Area 51 raids right now? So, hope you enjoyed it. Again, as always, make sure to visit our website, qcopodcast.com, as well as all of our social media sites, which we have, also mentioned that we have, but literally don't spend hours and hours on.
We spend enough.
We spend
that if
enough, but
you
I'm
were
just
to
saying.
like say something to us, we would reply.
But you know what? That's what notifications are for.
Yes.
We need
So
to come up with something like this Area 51 thing that will just create generate mass audiences to our
yeah, but we can't do it too quickly now because then it'll be just like copying. So
we have to wait till everyone forgets about it.
yep. So at
After the Men in Black have wiped their
QCOPodcast.com
memories.
or not at QCO Podcast for Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars. Check us out on all of the podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. Also, don't forget to check us out on YouTube and subscribe for us. So thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next week.